Ali's Adventures in Genderland. Once upon a time, there was a child. This child was called Ali. Now Ali had a little brother and a little sister. That was the sister. And there's the brother. Now, Ali was brunette, but I can't find brown on my colour wheel, so we're going to make her ginger, as was her sister. However, her brother was blonde. Her daddy also had black hair, and her mummy had no hair, grey hair. Now, being very small, Ali thought that people with brown hair, or red hair in this case, were girls, people with blonde hair were boys, people with black hair were men, and people with grey hair were ladies. However, she was supposed to fall down a rabbit hole in a bit, but this being the 21st century, she had to go to school instead. So, one day, Ali, with her nice not red hair, well, not that red hair isn't nice, but she went to school. And at school, she met people, wrong colour, who had red hair and were boys, and people with blonde hair who were girls. Now this confused Ali, because it sort of messed up her ideas of what girl and boy meant. So, she saw that the boys, well, most of them anyway, spent a lot of time playing with footballs. That's soccer balls to all you Americans out there. The girls, however, didn't play football. They sat around and talked a lot. So, Ali's new theory was that boys played football and girls didn't. And this was all well for a while, until Ali, with her mistakes, found a girl, well, a person, playing football. Now, because this person was playing with a football, she thought that the person was a boy. However, the person got very offended with this, because the person said she was a girl, and went to the teachers about it. There is our teacher. And there is Ali, again. She'll be turning full up. Now Ali did not understand what she'd done wrong, because as far as she was concerned, the person with the football was a boy. The teachers didn't like this idea very much, and told her to ask her parents. Why? It was a problem. So Ali did ask her parents, and her parents said, well, they explained the biological difference between a boy and a girl, which I won't go into. She then realised why her brother had extra ribs, but again, that's another story. So we have Ali and we have her sisters. Well, her brother and her sister, but her brother was a bit of a wuss. Oops, wrong hair colour. Her brother did used to wear dresses on occasion, but normally when the girls put him in one. Now, she was all fine with this definition for a while, until she grew up a bit more and went to her next school. So Ali's bigger now, or rather has a rather deformed body. When she was at that school, she met another person. This person was very confusing, because Ali still asked whether they were boys or girls before speaking to them after the rather embarrassing incident with the girl with the football. This person replied no. So Ali was a bit confused. This was when she found out that sometimes, on very rare occasions, people are born neither a boy nor a girl. Some of them have both sets of it, some of them have none, and some of them just have rather messed up chromosomes. It's kind of normal. Well, not really normal, but it happens. So this confused her. But now she had boy, girl, and not. A little while later, Ali was on the internet, because, well, it's a rather dangerous place to be. Just wait for computers to catch up with me. There we go. Now, on the internet, Ali found out about people who were born as boys but were girls. This confused her a bit, so she decided to think again. So, they obviously weren't boys in the definition that she'd been told after mistaking the girl for a boy. Well, they were boys like that. Not girls, I mean. So, she thought again, and they said that it depends what you feel like as to whether you're a boy or a girl. So she said fine, and thought about it. And she decided that she didn't feel like either of them, because she didn't know what it was to be either of them. A little bit more exploration, and she found that actually her idea of the boys playing football wasn't such a bad one after all. She found out that gender is, well, kind of decided a bit by society. There's lots and lots of bits to it, and it's very complicated, one of which is what you feel like. So even if you do all the boy things and feel like a girl, then you're still a girl. Which should be simple enough. Well, not really, it's very confusing. Anyway. So, there were things like boys play football, and girls play with dollies. And boys had bad handwriting, that's easy for me to do, and girls had good handwriting, which is a lot harder because I have bad handwriting. Boys liked physics, and girls liked things like English. And the computer's got this, yeah. Never mind, that's supposed to be English. So that was fine, except that Ali sort of did both of the things. She didn't play football, but she did have very bad handwriting. And she liked English, and she liked physics, which was a bit weird, but she was a bit weird. She did like playing with her dolls, but she liked making her dolls go out and fight dragons. There is her doll, with a big sword. And there we have a rather weird dragon. Breathing fire at the doll. Her brother had lots of dragons. So, anyway, back to the point, and to recap. This is what Ali discovered. Oops. Gender is not defined by hair colour, which sounds a bit silly now that she's older. There, not us. Gender is not defined by what you do. Which is also fair enough. Sex is defined biobiology. Come on, computer. It doesn't like me at the minute. There we go. But gender is not. Parts of gender are cultural. So in most cultures, a girl is the one that stays at home and does all the stuff, although in some countries it's just the man. And although they would associate each of them with a particular sex. So, parts of it are cultural, and parts of gender are on what field. Actually, most of it's depending on what you feel, because you get to choose what you feel yourself. It's a lot harder to not be the one that your sex is, but it is allowed. Well, it should be allowed. Some people don't like it. See, have we got anything else to say? Oh yes, in her adventures, Ali found out about lots of different sorts of genders. So as well as male and female, you also get things like gender fluid, where it changes. Come on, computer. You get things like agender, which are people who are not male or female and would rather not have the bits of either of them. Bigender, where they are both. Actually, thinking about it, aliens don't necessarily have bits of both of them, they are just definitely not male or female. Wanting to have the bits of neither has a different name that I can't remember at the minute. Then you have bigender, which feel like both male and female at the same time, rather than gender fluid, which can be male and female at different times. Or they can be male and agender, or female and agender, or any other combination of the rest of them. Then you have non-gendered, which non-gendered people tend to have a little bit more of a problem with the gender thing. If only because they don't really understand it themselves. Or some of them do have a very good grasp of gender and just, they don't feel like any particular gender, but they don't feel like no gender or both gender. And then, of course, you have various shades in between. More information, or rather any information, rather than me making a fool of myself, please see the gender book. There should be a link underneath somewhere, or rather the internet. Anywhere on the internet, although the internet's kind of a dangerous place, as Ali found out. Anyway, thank you. Oh yeah, one last thing. My name is not Ali. But I may have done many of these silly things. Bye. I may or may not ever be back.